All right, guys, we should be live. Hey, I want to welcome you to the 4th of July Independence Day live stream. Myself and Veteran Biker are going to talk about some veterans issues that are going on. And one of the big ones, and I'm going to let Ben talk about it a little bit because he was the one that showed me this article. And let's bring him on. There we go. And good morning, sir. Thanks for joining the stream.
Hey, glad to be here, man. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
I figure what better thing to do on a Veterans Day than talk about some of the craziness that's going on. I mean, this is not the America I grew up in.
It's definitely different.
It just seems like it just continues to get worse as time goes on. And let me just explain that Ben sent me an article, and you don't mind me using your first
No,
name.
absolutely not. Go for it.
I think it's just easier.
Yeah.
He sent me an article about something that took place in Arkansas that just really had him steamed. And it also had me steamed as well. After I read it and I started doing a little bit of research on it. And this kind of like all falls into why veterans get upset about stolen valor. And I'll let Ben talk about the article a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and bring the article up. Let me just get in here real quick. And I'm going to let him describe the article to you a little bit.
Well, basically, Garland County, which is kind of a little south of Little Rock, there's a grave site there for a former member of SEAL Team 6, which is one of the most elite of the SEAL teams. SEAL Team 6 probably went to prominence with the killing of Osama bin Laden. So you don't just go into SEAL Team 6. You're hand-picked, hand-selected, and, you know, that's pretty high up on the totem pole, as I'm sure there's SF or Special Forces groups within the Army. And so this gentleman, Adam Brown, was killed in action. So he was a KIA about 10 years ago. And he could have been buried in Arlington if he would have wanted to. I mean, you know, not anybody, but the guy could have been buried in Arlington. We'll leave it at that and let you get into that a little more. But his family, at the grave, and a lot of veterans' graves, people go by and leave things on those headstones. And we all know about the penny, the nickel, the dime, and the quarter. Pay your respects. The different coins if you served with them in boot camp, if you served with them in combat, and if you actually were there when they died in combat. And people leave other trinkets to pay their respects. Well, the family had started noticing some of those things going missing and being stolen. And they, there's another gentleman that has this underwater memorial that he had set up in honor of Adam Brown, Chief Brown. And the news picked it up. I saw it and I was like, you have got to be kidding. I mean, there's low. I see like stolen valor is low. And I see like this is lower than you're taking something off of a combat hero, a combat action hero, or any veteran, anybody. I mean, when you're stealing something like this off of a headstone or a gravestone. So I forwarded it over to MSGRetired, and here we are.
Yeah, I did some research on Adam Brown, and he was posthumously awarded a Silver Star. He had previously received a Bronze Star with a V device for valor, Purple Heart. So he had already been wounded, and he was killed during an operation, basically saving his fellow team members. And the Fearless Rock, the underwater memorial, is amazing. And I'm going to put links to this stuff in the description once we close up the live stream, so you can actually go and look at some of this stuff. And one thing that's not known is Adam, when he joined the Navy, he was fighting addiction, which was a big part of why he joined the military.
Yep.
He had been fighting addiction as a young man, and he thought, I just need to go into the military and, get some structure in my life, and maybe that'll keep me from having any more issues with it, which it did. And he was, from everybody that's posted comments, everybody that's known him, they said he was a hard charger, 100%, 110% with everything he did. So, this kid went from addiction into the Navy, into special operations, and as a Navy SEAL, selected for SEAL Team 6. Just a hard charger. And this is one of the things, you got guys like this that gave their life for their country and received these awards and decorations. And then we have, on the other side of the coin, all these phonies and embellishers out there. That's why veterans get so pissed off about it, because we know what these guys have gone through to get all that training. And, then they give their life for their country. Basically, it's what they call dying well. As a warrior, if you die in combat, they consider that dying well, where otherwise you just want to grow old and enjoy your kids and stuff. But you don't want, a lot of the other members of SEAL Team 6 were killed when the Chinook helicopter crashed.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of his friends were killed and it was shortly after he was killed, maybe a year or so afterwards. So it was pretty crazy the way that happened. But let me go back to the window capture. I'll show you.
It's just pitiful. Somebody would go there to do that. I don't think you go there with the idea to pay your respects and then walk away with a trinket or some memento that was left there by a family member. I don't think you go there and that just happens, No,
that just chaps my ass when people leave that stuff there as a show of respect for his service, and then
absolutely
some clown comes in there and scoops it all up. I don't know what he's going to do with it. Here's a picture I'm showing a picture right now of the underwater memorial, and they've got a bunch of coins on it, and they're going to add, I guess they said something about adding all the people from that area that passed away to this memorial that died in combat. But it's pretty impressive.
I'll get into it after I saw
this. It's pretty impressive, to say the least.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal.
And let me get back over here. So I got a lot of things going on because we're running OBS, we're running the stream program, and it seems to
I'm learning from you, man.
Yeah. And it's always a learning experience. How to crop your images, how to get your lighting, how to get things looking good. And you're doing great. You got a great background going on, and now you're using the OBS camera to go on to the stream program.
You've given me some good advice with this, is all I got to say.
StreamYard, that's it, StreamYard. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Yeah, Jeremy Dewitt. I didn't even do an update this past week just because there's really nothing going on.
Has he just fell off the grid?
He's kind of fallen off the grid. He's gone dark. I don't know. Maybe he's in his special forces mode. Because there hasn't been much going on. Somebody sent me a text, said there was a trial that was set, but it's been moved into August. And I think all of his stuff now is coming up in August. I think some of it's going to be while we're in Sturgis. So we'll have to try and keep track of what's going on with him while we're in Sturgis. Not that I really care to really dedicate any time to that ass clown, but it is what it is. Yeah, some of the guys in chat, they're basically saying he's horrible. Yeah,
the
biography. Somebody posted about the biography of Adam Brown, and it does a great job. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up because I haven't read the whole thing, and I'd really like to go check it out. because I mean, what a story to come from, being addicted to, being a top-rated Navy SEAL, SEAL Team 6. That's just.
I mean, we've all got our own reasons of why we joined the military, or what we were looking to find, or what we were, in his case, looking to get away from. And I mean, it's pretty ironic that you bring it up of why he joined the military, because I just saw a friend of mine had shared a link to a video from a law enforcement dash cam down in Walton County, which is kind of the panhandle of Florida, where I grew up. And this dash cam was the Walton County police officer doing a pit maneuver. Just so happened the person that he was doing the pit maneuver was one of my best friends whenever I was growing up. And around that panhandle, lower Alabama, northwest Florida area, there's a horrible drug problem. And that's what my buddy got arrested for, was I don't call him a buddy now. It's probably not even the same person I knew 30 plus years ago. But a friend of mine sent me that, and he was like, "Hey, didn't you know this guy?" And I was like, "Holy crap." So, I mean, Adam joined the military to get away from something like that, to do something bigger and better for himself, which he obviously did. And for someone or people, I don't know who, to diminish or minimize what he accomplished by stealing some trinkets, it really chaps my butt. And I mean, it brings me up to that level where, I'd love for Don Shipley to go down there with his wife and kick some doors in, I mean, that's the guy that's who I think of whenever I'm like, oh yeah, you want some stolen valor? Let's send Don and his wife. You know what I mean? That's my theory, or that's my level of outrage.
Yeah. Don tends to stay in the wheelhouse with the SEALs, and that keeps him really busy.
Yeah.
I've talked to Don on the phone several years ago, just validating someone who turned out to be a phony that we all thought was good to go. And Hiram sending me some some info on what I can do to keep my phone from getting destroyed. As you know, or maybe you don't know, I left it on the rear bumper of my truck when I went out on my test ride with the bike and the trailer, and it got run over about 4 or 5 times. Hiram, here's the new phone, buddy. I got the tempered glass screen protector. I've got the OtterBox Defender, and I have got the belt case. So
I got the same thing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to use this just so I don't set my phone on the bumper and forget it. Yep. I mean, I did have that on the other one too, but it's only going to hold up to being run over so many times, and then it's just going to be squashed flat.
Now, you and I were texting back and forth with the Jeremy Dewitt stuff, because I started doing, I did some Googling. I've watched your videos, but I don't know how I didn't know that he was a registered sex offender. I had no idea of that until.
Yeah, when you sent me that, you said, "Did you see this?" I was like, "Oh yeah." And that seems to be a common theme in stolen valor. There's like several things that tend to kind of almost be associated with a lot of these guys. One, a lot of them are convicted felons. 2, believe it or not, a lot of them are in some kind of a motorcycle group, because you always see them wearing the vest with all their shit on the vest. And number 3, a lot of them are in the sex offender registry. It's amazing. Yeah. Jeremy can come move in with me. He'd rather go to basic training than come move in with me.
He couldn't go. He won't go to basic training, and he couldn't. And he couldn't hack it. He couldn't hack it.
Yeah, as a sex offender, he's not going to do well in prison, as none of them do, especially if they put him in general pop. If they put him in general population, he's gonna have a hard time with it.
Oh, I could only imagine. I've got some friends that have worked in that community or in the corrections department, and the stories I hear there, it kind of they police themselves.
One thing I wanted to bring up, and this goes back to stealing stuff off a grave, and how different the United States is since when I was growing up. And we did that ride for the what they call the Wall That Heals. It's a miniature representation of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in D.C. It is a full Vietnam wall that's all enclosed in a tractor trailer, and they open it up, and it's pretty amazing. And when we were doing the escort, there was probably 150 bikes there. You could see it in the video I posted. But the one thing that just kept capturing me as I was going down the road was all the people that took time out of their day. Now, this is a Tuesday at like 2:30 in the afternoon, and these people are out there standing on the side of the road, waving American flags, cheering as we rode by. And I couldn't believe how many people were out there in support of us and in support of that memorial going by. I was amazed. It almost made me reconsider everything that I've seen recently. It really made me feel good, and it made a lot of us feel good because we were all talking about it at the end of the ride, like, wow, I can't believe there were that many people out there. It was just unbelievable. And I was so happy to see everybody out there doing that. I mean, it almost kind of, I don't know, refreshed me on the American way. You know, it was great. And then
I got to attend something just a couple of days ago. It was actually Friday, and some of you may have saw in the news nationally. We had a local police officer here that was killed by none other than a meth head, Officer Kevin Apple with the Pea Ridge police department there, or sheriff's department. And they had a memorial for him. There were 170 police officers, police cars in the procession. There must have been 40 or 50 first responder vehicles, ambulances, and fire trucks. And then after that, there were hundreds of motorcycles. And the Patriot Guard had ridden in that. And then tomorrow, the 7-2 CVMA chapter and a couple other motorcycle groups here are doing a memorial ride that's going to pass through a bunch of those law enforcement agencies tomorrow. I didn't take any pictures at the funeral procession, number one, because I was in my CVMA gear and I had on my VFW hat and holding the salute as they all passed by. My shoulder's still feeling it, but tomorrow I plan to go out and get on that ride and ride with them. And so it was me and another retired gunny sergeant. He was 72, and he was standing next to me. And he said to me whenever the procession started coming, he said, "Hey, we're popping this hand salute." And I said, "Roger that, gunny." And me, I'm in my 40s, and he's 72. And we held that hand salute, I would say, for the better part of 25, almost 30 minutes. And do we have to do that? No. Did we do it out of a show of respect? Absolutely. And afterwards, there were so many people that came over and said, "Thank you for your service. Why did you do that? Why did you do this?" And it was just simple. It was like, because that guy would do that for me, or some other veteran would do that for me. And it's that paying respects. So I'm going to go out there Monday, do this motorcycle ride, honoring him and raising money for his family. And it really hits home as a vet whenever you see somebody stealing MSG's retired's accomplishments, all those CIB badges, those patches that you've earned, to see some bozo that is profiting off of what you've accomplished, what your brothers and sisters of arms have accomplished. It just really rubs me raw, man. I mean, it chaps my butt. If people steal my time and my money, I'm really pissed off. But whenever they steal what I've accomplished or what you've accomplished, that really that bothers me a lot.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it.
How did you stumble upon Jeremy Dewitt? If I don't know if I've ever asked you that personally.
You know, I don't even remember how. It was over a year ago. And I was working on some stolen valor stuff, and I saw it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try and go ahead and start posting some stolen valor videos. And I said, this is the perfect clown because he's impersonating a police officer. I think I saw somebody showed me a link to serial police impersonator in Florida. Go figure, Florida man. So I said, well, I'm going to take a look at that. And then I started looking at it, and I ended up going over to Real World Police. And then as I'm listening to stuff, I start hearing some of his claims, his military claims. And his military claims, even in that one clip from Real World Police, he goes from 12 years to 14 years during the same conversation. So, I mean, I think he couldn't keep his lies straight if he wanted to.
That's the trouble with lying. It's hard to keep up with what you've told.
And then one of the funniest things, the next town over for me, a kid that worked for him in Florida contacted me and said, yeah, I used to work for him in 08, 09 time frame. And this was back when he was claiming he was a lieutenant. Of course, then he self-promoted to captain because he said he was a retired captain at a military funeral. That one kind of chapped my ass. And then, of course, he was a major there in that last video. Man, I wish I could have self-promoted myself. I would have been a 23-star Grand Poobah General or something.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I would have been doing some good stuff. I would have never been mess cranking in the galley for 90 days washing dishes. That would have never happened in my career. Hell no.
John, I'm not talking down on your Florida. It's just, I can't help it, man. Every time we see something, it's Florida, man. Because and they're probably not even indigenous to your state. They're probably transplanted in from somewhere else. But I'll tell you, some of the craziest stuff comes out of Florida.
It does.
So,
yeah.
Thumbs up on that. I mean, it gives us something to watch. Yeah, 62-star general. That'd be perfect. Perfect. Especially with the pay grade that would go along with that.
I put a link in the comments here from whenever I had you over on my channel and we were talking about our Sturgis trips for maybe some of the crowd that hadn't seen that.
Yep. So as a matter of fact, somebody posted that they wanted to hear about the trip. So I'll put my 2 cents worth in right now. The trailer, I am going to have a final video on the trailer. I'm still waiting on some stuff to come in. I actually ordered a bed frame. I was just going to throw the memory foam mattress on the floor, but I found a really cool full-size fold-up metal frame that I will be able to just strap off to the wall, and it doesn't take up a lot of room. So I've got the bed frame coming. I picked up the grill from my buddy the other day. I got that all cleaned up and working. I had to order some new grates for the top. It's one of those road trip Coleman grills. So, and it's got the grill top, or you could put a griddle top. So I got a half griddle, half grill. So if we decide we want to cook up some bacon and eggs one morning, we're good to go. What else have I done? I mean, everything else is pretty much done. And one thing I did think about before I even started this build was, how far do I want to go as far as having a mini toy hauler? Do I really want to get involved with putting plumbing in and trying to put anything else, a bathroom in there or anything? And I was like, no, because I'm going to stay at campgrounds. Campgrounds have showers. Campgrounds have shitters. So
it's just like back in Iraq.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, if I actually go remote, I'll throw an Australian shower up outside, and I'll get a bucket with one of them bucket top toilet seats and a plastic bag, and there you go.
Absolutely.
If I have to rough it. But I don't plan on roughing much anymore.
I did see that you added some decals to the trailer.
Oh, yeah. Follow me on YouTube. I got those on there.
I like it.
Yeah, I figured. Well, and you brought it up. You said, "Hey, what a great way to advertise."
It's
And I
free.
didn't want to get big and gaudy, so and it's easy for me because my dad lives next door. He's got a shop out back, and he's got a sign shop. So he's got a printer cutter, and we just whipped out a couple, a
That's
few
perfect.
decals and threw them on there.
Absolutely perfect. Question about Jeremy. What do you think? Where do you think he pops up next? Because guys like this are so narcissistic. They can't stay out of the. They can't lay low. Like they cannot lay low.
I mean, John's like, "How's Dad doing?" So I must know John, and John, he's doing great. As a matter of fact, he's out golfing today.
Oh, even better.
Didn't expect that, but
Justin says Jeremy's going to turn up as a bounty hunter. You know, I can see him trying to pull some of that.
well, he'll be like Dog, the bounty hunter. He can't have a gun either because he's a convicted felon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Dog, the bounty hunter, cannot have a firearm. So I mean, that could be he's going to be a Patty Mayo, minus the real guns.
Now, is his girlfriend controlling the Metro State channel? She's the one sort of, because the last couple of videos have been all over the place.
Yeah, and then they all came down. So I don't know if his lawyer got to her and had her take those down or what happened there. But all the real juicy ones, man, they just poof, they were gone. And
I didn't know there was that big of a need for funeral escort companies because he's got a lot of equipment, or he had a lot of bikes, some Tahoes, some ex-police car. I mean, that stuff can't be cheap. I don't know where he got the money for that.
That's funny. Angela just posted his lawyer locked him in his basement. That's about the only way you're going to keep his yap shut. Lock him up.
So he's got a sentencing coming up, 8/3. Cogito says. Jeremy will pop up next sentencing on August 3rd. Oh, wow.
Is that Osceola or is that Orange? I haven't looked at the website, so I haven't, because I go to Orange County Courthouse and I go to Osceola County Courthouse, and they'll post everything that's coming up. All you gotta do is type his name in, and all of his shit comes up. And I didn't even look at it this week because I didn't want to waste any time on it. But I know he's got stuff coming up in August. My prediction, and only they sentenced him for 366 days on his failure to register and some other stuff. He's pending sentencing on that, or pending sentencing on that. He pled no contest on that, and basically you get the same penalties as a guilty finding. However, you don't have to admit guilt. That's one thing a narcissist is never going to do, is admit guilt.
No, never.
So I think my prediction, he's going to get 5 to 10 in state and probably 5 years supervised release after that. So he's going to do anywhere between 5 and 10 years and then supervised for at least 5 years after that. That would be my prediction. That's what I'm thinking. Hopefully, I'd love to see him throw the book at him, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I'd like to get one of those BMW motorcycles that he's got.
You know, they're all pretty beat. They're all like,
they are?
Yeah, they're like 07, 08 models. And you know, I worked at Savannah Kawasaki BMW when I was stationed down at Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield. I worked there part-time. And I did some work on I had a Beamer. I had a K75S on a slush head. That was a great bike. But yeah, I think those things are probably pretty beat, but they'll go 100,000 miles easy.
Really?
Yeah. Those motors, those boxer motors are pretty bulletproof. And a friend of mine here, he works next town over, somebody had given him an older Ducati 750 SS. They gave it to him because it hadn't been running a lot of years. And I just saw him the other day. I said, "Hey, what are you going to do with that Ducati?" He said, "Oh, I gave it away." I said, "Dude, I would have taken that as a project bike. Granted, it's not the Desmo motor. It's an older motor, but just something to work on." I was a little upset about that.
I would like to find another motorcycle. I've got the touring bike. I want to find just some little, like a little bobber or run around town. An older BMW would be great. A buddy of mine's got an older BMW. It's a 90/6. I think it's like an 82 or 83 BMW, and it's the little cafe racer type BMW. I'd love to find something like that. But it just seems like, or at least where I'm at, the motorcycle dealerships don't have any bikes. I don't know if it's like that where you're at.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Justin, I don't think, no, he's not going to get just probation. That's not happening. He's definitely going to the state. He's not going to be left in county. And I did look that up for Florida. Anything over a year, they actually transfer you over to state. I know up here, I think you could do up to 5 years in county, but it also depends. They could send you to state or they could leave you in county. But I think in Florida, that's why they gave him 366, because at 365, you can stay in county. 366, you go to the state. So that could be why. I'm just trying to catch up on all the chats here. So let's see. Hey, listen, I got a guy that you're going to love to meet if he comes up. His name is Fingers Jauch, and his name's Ed. And he was a federal agent that infiltrated a couple of the big 1% motorcycle clubs and formulated cases against them.
Oh, like RICO charges.
He lives in Illinois. I've been in contact with him. I sent him some Laconia shirts last year, but I've already been in contact with him. I'm either going to stop and see him, or he said for sure he's definitely going to come up to Sturgis for a day trip or whatever. So you definitely have to meet him. This guy, he's got some stories.
Oh, I bet.
He's got a Fingers Jauch, Jauch. He's got a YouTube channel. He just posted a new video, I think yesterday.
What's the name of his channel? I'm writing this down.
Fingers Jauch, Jauch. Let me just make sure I'm correct on that.
I'm checking this guy out.
He is pretty awesome.
Yep, that's it. I see it. Yep. You spelled it exactly right. Jauch.
Yep. And Ed's he's a really cool dude. And he's down to earth. You watch his videos. He's very down to earth, talks about it. I mean, I can't even imagine what it must be like to be that deep undercover with these 1% motorcycle clubs. Now, granted, they're not all criminal organizations.
No.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
however, back when he did it, I think the reason they did it was because of, in the area he was at, those chapters of those clubs were pretty heavy into some illegal activities, and that's why he did it. But he's got some really great information on his YouTube site, and he talks a lot about the 1%, lifestyle and the do's and the don'ts and that kind of stuff. But he's pretty cool. I'd love for you to meet him. He's really
that absolutely
cool dude.
Meet that guy if he comes to Sturgis. Yeah, that's the kind of guy. That's my kind of people. Yeah. Now I'm just looking here. Stars and Stripes. I sent you a link to that. They just had an article about 3 or 4 days ago about stolen valor, and it kind of caught me off guard that Stars and Stripes, for those that don't know, it's a military it's all branches military newspaper, and for them to rerun an article on stolen valor kind of throws me a curveball. I didn't expect for Stars and Stripes to run something like that.
Yeah, they've actually done some. They've done some articles. They've done some articles on some guys that have been prosecuted for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. prosecuting stolen valor is such a hard task. I just received an email this morning, and I still have to reply to it. I'm not going to say where they work or what they do or whatever, but he says, "Hey, look, I don't know if this is something you want to look into. The guy I work with claims, military combat in Baghdad and all his daring do's." And he says, this guy is a one-upper every chance he gets.
No,
if you've got a story, he can one-up it.
If you got a black cat, he's got a cat that's blacker. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And he just got a promotion at work, and that promotion was based on his military experience and his daring deeds of do. And he gave me the name and the date of birth, so I'm going to dig into it. I'm still not sure how bogged down NPRC is, because I still haven't got any records requests returned to me, and we're going on 7 or 8 months now since I've sent some of them in.
I know for a fact they have just started back up. They have just opened back up. Part of what I do for work, we have a lot of interaction with them getting DD-214s for vets that are trying to get benefits. And they have just now completely came back open. So you'll probably, if you put in a request a few months ago, you'll probably get that one back first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could be. I'm going to wait I'm probably going to wait a week, because I've got 2 or 3 of them that I've been kind of on the fence as to what I want to do.
You should do a video on how people can do that themselves. It's really simple. I mean,
it is, but when you are trying to get somebody else's records.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll talk briefly about this. On that standard form 180, when you fill that out, Mary Shantag, if you look her up, her husband was huge in the stolen valor stuff. And Mary sent me a template. It's basically an SF-180 with an overprint on it that's got writing all over the place on it. But it works. It works every time. Detailing what you get and how to fill out that bottom box, that the service member's signature is not required, because this is a Freedom of Information request.
Yep.
And you are requesting redacted records, but you're requesting everything. I've also learned that on your first request, you always don't get everything they have.
Oh, really?
If you file a second request, usually you get more information. And I think it was Steve over at Guardians of the Green Beret that gave me that information. He says, yeah, a lot of times they'll give you the basic information, maybe 1 or 2 documents with a cover sheet, but they've got a lot more. It's just, they just throw a couple things together and send it to you, hoping that it appeases you. And when it doesn't, then you shoot it back off again.
Hoping you'll go away.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Let's see. Where are we at with the...
Now, have you had any stolen valors, I hate to say cases, but stolen valor incidents in your area up where you're at?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, you have.
I run across them. There was there was one of them that I didn't even have to do anything on, because he had already been outed, but there was a retired state trooper that got Purple Heart plates for his POV, for his and didn't have a Purple Heart. So he got blasted. I don't know, falsifying documents to the registry and a bunch of other stuff.
Wow.
And there's been a few other, I guess, more prominent cases that have come up that have been outed on the internet in my area here in New England.
Now, is John Kerry, is he a Massachusetts guy? Where's he? Connecticut?
No comment. Because he's nowhere up here right now.
Yeah. Because I think he was a big. There was a lot of telltale. John Kerry.
Yeah, the guys from his Swift boat.
That's it. Swift boat.
The Swift boat thing. where he put himself in for a Bronze Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then you got Blumenthal down here in Connecticut.
You're right.
Claimed he was in Vietnam and never was.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the two sheriff's candidates down in Texas. They were both claiming Ranger, and sure enough, neither one of them were. It's just so easy to out these guys nowadays, especially when you have some contacts. And I've been doing this long enough that I've got contacts now in different areas. I've got people I can call that can look into different things for me, legally look into things for me. And I've also got my own research stuff that I can do through my work, and that helps me out quite a bit.
You know, I think we're going to see more stolen valor things. This being the 20th anniversary of 9/11. All of those guys that joined, I mean, 9/11 was the largest volunteer enlistment ever in the history of the United States. And all of those people that stuck around, well, I say all, that 4 or 5% of them that stuck around and made a career of it to 20 years, they're due to retire. And I think as an influx of veterans into the civilian community comes, I think you're going to see more and more of it. I really do. You know, I mean, we had talked offline about the DD-214 that I got from a guy that was so blatantly fake that it was hilarious. And I think that you're going to see more and more of it. I just really do, you know.
Yeah, especially since everything's getting pulled out of Afghanistan right now.
Mm-hmm.
It really hasn't been in the forefront very much, but there's going to be more of it. There's no doubt. There is absolutely no doubt. And it's just so easy to out these people, you know, and I was getting, for a while there, I was getting a lot of emails a week. I was probably getting 15 to 20 emails a week. Luckily, it's kind of tapered off a little bit. I always answer the emails. There's a lot of them that I just, you know, I don't have enough to really want to dig that deep into it. The guy's telling a story at a bar. He's not wearing anything. But he's just running his mouth and, you know, telling a fairy tale at a bar, half in the bag. Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. That really doesn't bother me. The ones that bother me is like the guy that you mentioned that used his cloud of mystique to advance his career, to advance his business. There was I forget the name of the guy that was down here in Missouri that had pretended to be, I think he had pretended to be a SEAL and opened up like a shooting range and all this other kind of stuff, you know. And that's the ones that bother me. They use some other accomplishment to promote themselves, you know.
Yeah, there was one guy, I forget what his name was, Baldoni or something like that. There was one guy down in Texas. He's posing with actual firearms, and come to find out he's a convicted felon. So
great.
Yeah, he was talking about his military career, which he didn't have, and how he was trained in the sheriff's department, and then he got locked up.
Oh, this guy was named A.J. Dicken. That's what this guy's name was.
Oh, yes, Mr. Dicken. He was a big stolen valor turd. He actually went overseas. He actually went to Africa. He was hired by a group of people to perform security, goes to Africa. These people realize he's a complete shit show over there. Has no idea what he's doing. He was drunk most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he claimed to have 2 medals of honor.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude. You know, at a point in my career, I was lucky to get a good conduct or have 2 good conducts, much less 2 medals of honor. But I was just looking at that. But I think like his secretary or one of his assistants kind of helped out him because she was scared for her own safety over in Africa, if I remember like the story.
Yeah, she was scared because he was just a complete shit show when he got over there. Justin, no. first off, get away from this black ops thing. That's not something the military, we don't talk about black ops. There's no such thing. There are classified missions.
Mission shown in DT-214. Oh my God.
No, the only thing that's classified are the missions. Missions are not really going to show up on your DD2. Well, none of that's going to show up on your DD214. Basically, what you have to get is a copy of what they call in the Army, it's a 2 or 2-1, which is basically a chronological order of all of your assignments. I don't know what they call it in the Navy, but it's similar. And I've gotten some Navy records back that have that chronological order as to, they were on this ship, they went to this school, then they were land-based here, then they were this, that. And having Purple Heart tag, I just mentioned we had a state trooper here who had them and never had a Purple Heart. So, I mean, it could be faked. Most likely the guy is a veteran. Most likely maybe he was wounded in action. He does have Purple Heart tags. Maybe he was on secret missions, top secret missions.
Yeah, give me a break.
They're just classified. That's all they say. They never give them a security classifications. It's just these guys go out on some type of a classified mission, whatever that may be, done.
Paul made a good comment, and I've had a lot of interaction with Paul. He says he just usually starts asking what MOS an individual is when you talk to another service member. For Navy, it's a rate or your NEC, but I think for MOS, that's an Army term, right? Operation.
Yeah, it's a military occupational skill.
Yeah,
or specialty.
Paul brought that up. If you're in the military and when a guy says, I was 11 Bravo, or I was a bosun's mate, or I was a signalman, pretty much what their job entailed. Or, and does it sway out of that? Absolutely. But the Black Ops missions to Central America, come on, give me a break. And your MOS was a cook or a fueler, it's like, come on, dude.
Now, when I was stationed with the 82nd Airborne, I do know that there were missions going on in El Salvador. I don't know what those missions were. I believe they were drug interdiction missions, which assets from the 82nd Airborne were supporting other government 3-letter agencies.
Yep.
Down in El Salvador, because there were people lost down there. I know there was an aircraft shot down, a scout aircraft that was shot down with American pilots, and some other things. And this was like early 80s, 83, 84, right around that time frame. So I do know that there were some drug interdiction missions going on down in South America. Those missions are classified, I'm sure. As far as the specifics of those missions, you're never going to know what happened on the ground on these missions anyway, because there's no documentation on it. Same with, like my deployment to Iraq, we didn't document our missions that we did every day. We went out, we got in a firefight, blah, 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 blah. There's no documentation on that. I read an after action report. It goes to the TOC. Who knows where it goes after that? But you'll never get access to that. So,
I worked on one of those big submarines behind me right here. And we go out and do things, and none of that stuff ever goes. Our deck logs are classified, where we were at, our Latin longs and our times. We do stuff that never goes on, and none of that goes on a DD-214. And I look at DD-214s all the time, and none of that goes on there. Sure, your time of overseas service goes on there. Your time on a campaign, that goes on there. But to say anything about Black Ops missions on DD-214, that doesn't go on there.
Hey, Dean, thanks for tuning in, man. It's like 3 a.m. in Australia. And we had a couple of Australian guys in there. So, hey, get yourself some sleep and have a great day. John, I know what my GS level is. I just can't tell you. If I tell you, I got to kill you.
Oh, yeah, it's top secret. Yeah, top secret. Completely top secret. Let's see here. See, Paul. Nice little chat group. Yeah, you got a lot of folks in here chatting there, Sarge. That's nice.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good following. I'm very humbled by it. I can't believe it. You know, I get these people in here and they enjoy my content, and I try and keep it specific to the topic. I don't go off on tangents. I don't try and grandize things.
Yep.
I try and tell it like it is. That's like with the whole Jeremy Dewitt thing. I just give an update. I don't put in any of my own personal beliefs or thoughts, or
my opinion would be all 4-letter words.
Well, yeah, that too. And I try and stay nice with that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Surprised at people that got TBI.
Actually, Paul, that has happened, and it is happening. There are guys. We had it right, wrong, or indifferent. But yeah, guys are getting Purple Hearts for TBIs.
Yep.
Not all of them. I mean, I had one of my gunners. He'd been up in the turret like 3 different times and got blown up. And after his last time, I'm like, dude, I'm pulling you off the road for a couple of weeks. Because as soon as we got back, he's vomiting. Typical brain injury type stuff. And I made him go get checked out. But, you know, he didn't get one. However, our headquarters element went out on something, and they had one of the cooks in there, and the truck didn't even get a direct hit, and he claimed a TBI. I don't know if he woke up and banged his head on the side window or what, and he got a Purple Heart for it. I was like, are you shitting me? But, you know, I guess it all depends. Well, headquarters didn't go out of the wire much, and when they did, I guess they tried to get everything they could get if something happened, because they're the guys that write the stuff up anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they file all the paperwork. Let's see here.
We're here for the bikes and stolen valor. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and you are a neighbor. You're not too far from me. Kind of crappy weather out there today, but
you got bad weather?
Yeah, it's just kind of overcast.
It's nice here. I got the yard mowed. I'm going to get the bike out a bit later. I got some ribs in the smoker. And I'm going to take a nice little ride here this afternoon.
I think the last thing I did was I ordered that bed frame. That's going to be here Wednesday. And of course, my schedule is screwed up as it is. Tomorrow I'm working 3 to 11, and Thursday, Friday I'm working during the day, 7 to 3. So I'm going to try and get a video out this coming weekend on the final. I'm just going to call it my mini toy hauler build. And how I came up with the idea, how I validated what I wanted in the trailer. And yeah, so hopefully I'll have everything. Everything will be in there. I'll show everybody and how it's all going to be set up. It's going to be pretty cool.
Well, I was going to send you a couple of things, but I'm just going to bring them with me to Sturgis and give them to you while I'm there.
That'll work.
Save the postage.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. How long have we been on? Well, I don't know.
I ordered a bunch of stickers. I got some stickers made and some poker chips.
Cool. The Sturgis trip is going to be something special, and I hope. And I already explained to you, I kind of upgraded my cell phone plan, so I've got unlimited high speed. So hopefully we're going to be able to do a live stream from the base camp, and I'm going to be able to upload videos. I'm going to try and get as much video as I can every day, download it. I've got a little MacBook Pro here, an older one. It still does fine. It still processes my videos. It's just a little bit slower than my iMac. And I hope to be able to do like daily updates, or, you know, get the stuff at least uploaded at night, which I think is going to be awesome. That way you're getting almost real time what's going on in Sturgis. Because like I said, we're both Sturgis virgins.
Yep.
So it's going to be a learning experience.
I got a question for you. So I've never taken this M50 anywhere outside of just like my little, where I'm sitting now. What do I need to bring with me for that? I've ordered 2 or 3 extra batteries for it. I've got a charger. I've just got the standard lens that came with it, this M50 Mark II. But I don't know what else I need to get to travel with this thing.
Extra SD cards. That's about it, really.
I've got a 256 in there. Is that big enough, or do I need to get a couple of those?
I wouldn't go any. Yeah, that's more than big enough. The biggest I go is 128, only because of failure rates. The bigger they are, I guess the bigger the chance you can have of a failure. Because I had a 128 mini that I was using in my GoPro 9 that failed the other day. I had to come back and do a low-level format on it to get it working again.
When you're out walking around and filming, do you have like a little gimbal that it sits on, or what?
I do. I've got the Ronin SC gimbal.
They sent me one with it that came with this Mark II, and it's this.
Okay,
this is like a little remote control. It's not really a gimbal. It's just kind of a stand. This remote control pops out, I guess. Is there a gimbal that you recommend for these things?
Well, I just started using this DJI Ronin SC.
I'm going to write this down. DJI.
And I'm going to thank all my subscribers for that, because, all the people that watch my videos with the stupid advertisements, that allows me to get a little bit of extra money to go ahead and buy new camera gear.
Absolutely.
I'm using that 16 millimeter Sigma lens right now on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it also allowed me to get that gimbal, which I plan on using, downtown Sturgis and stuff like that. For the most part, I just use my GoPros.
I'm gonna go ahead and apologize to all your subscribers now for being in your videos at Sturgis, or for holding your camera so that you can be in your videos at Sturgis if I don't hold them steady. I'm just going to go ahead and apologize to everybody in the chat. I'm sorry.
Well, I could say the same for your guys.
It'll be the same thing on mine. Absolutely.
We're probably going to be in each other's videos quite a bit. And
I was told to hit the PX at Rapid City, the space there. I was told by a buddy of mine that I'm staying with. He said, hit the PX. It's great. He said, it's got everything you want. And he said, if you want to get some of the best steaks, hit the PX. So if you're bringing a grill, I'll bring the ribeyes. Yep.
And I've got that's the other thing that hasn't come in yet. I got a refrigerator freezer, chest type, 54 quart. That's going to be mounted in there, hooked up to power.
Uh-huh. Nice. It's going to be like Super Bowl in Iraq or something is what it sounds like.
Yeah, actually, this is on par with what we had overseas.
It's better, sounding better than the defects.
It's actually better living than I had overseas at most of the time.
They had us in like some Connex boxes. Those things were 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, that's what it was like when we were on the main fob. I was on Fob Merez up in Mosul, and we were in basically shipping containers that were converted. They had AC in them, but if the generators were down, of course, it was an oven.
Yeah.
Of course, then when we were out, you were out wherever, it kind of sucked. We spent a lot of time up at Badouche Prison, north of Mosul. And that was a crazy place because I guess when the push north came, somebody paid off the warden up there, and they just opened the gates. They were letting people out. And
damn.
Yeah, that turned into a crazy situation. So we ended up rotating, spending a week up there at a time between all the different platoons. You'd send a squad up there for a week or a platoon up there for a week. And they actually had a Iraqi police unit that was stationed there as well, just to keep that from happening again. Because the prison guards, they were on the take, and they were just letting everybody out. John wants to know what your GS level is.
Oh, I think today it's like 210, 212, somewhere in that area,
I was 6.5 today.
6.5? Okay. I've got a live stream coming up the 7th. What day is that? Is that Wednesday night? I think.
I think it
Yeah.
is.
I've got Pro Monkey on, and he's been to Sturgis. Like, I think he started going to Sturgis whenever he was in diapers, and he's going to be on my live stream. I'm going to be taking notes because we're going to be talking about what I need to do for my first trip, and should be hilarious. His channel's hilarious anyway. He's a good dude. Let's see, one smart cookie for using a good email. I use Proton Mail is what I use. And Paul is obviously in the know on that. He says smart cookie for using a good email service. Yeah, I use Proton Mail.
The one you did the other night with Robert, that was awesome.
That's a good guy, man. Motorcycle officer, retired motorcycle officer from New York City.
Yep.
I mean, his videos, his training videos, I like them. I watch them. And just a straight shooter. I mean, just a straight shooting dude. Much like yourself.
And the funny thing is he lives in Pooler, Georgia. We lived the next county over, only one town over, when we were down there. My wife actually was a volunteer at the 8th Air Force Museum. She was a docent at the 8th Air Force Museum, which is right there on the 95 corridor. And we were there 12, 15 years, right around there.
Oh,
so we were pretty much ingrained in that area. A really good friend of mine, I helped him get his motorcycle business started. It used to be Superbike Specialties, and now it's Southeast Motorcycle, and it's owned by a kid by the name of Adam Gaddy. And it's an Aprilia dealership right there in Savannah. Actually, it's in
what base is that?
Garden City. Pardon me? Hunter Army Airfield and Fort Stewart.
Fort Stewart. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. And Hunter Army Airfield is right in Savannah, like almost downtown. It's actually an alternate landing strip for the old space shuttles, which was kind of amazing. It was only one of the longest runways where they could land the space. Can you imagine them landing a space shuttle in downtown Savannah, coming in on that runway?
No,
that would be
not at all. Not at all.
That would be cuckoo. Well, all right, we're at the hour mark. We're I don't want to go any longer. Negative 37, perfect on the GS level.
Yep, time to get out and fire up the barbecues.
Yeah, negative 37. That was Jeremy's score on his lie detector test on Dr. Phil.
On his ASVAB.
That is probably as bad as you could ever get as far as a scoring on it. You know, they usually -3, -4 is deceptive. He's minus 37.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's
way more than deceptive.
Jeremy only has a BS level. Hallelujah. That's quote of the day. Quote of the day. Hey, I appreciate you having
a high BS level.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, Sarge. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, man.
It was my pleasure. Glad to get you on here. Thanks for sending me that article. That really got me going, and I thought, what better day to talk about it than on the 4th of July, Independence Day. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. I mean, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do that.
Absolutely. You take care, Sarge. Have a good one. Happy 4th of July. I'm going to get some footage of this memorial ride tomorrow, and I'll share some of that with all of my folks, and I'll make sure you get it as well.
I'll post the link. Definitely. Thanks, bro.
All right. Take care, Sarge. Appreciate you.
All right. So I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope everybody has a good 4th of July, Independence Day. Enjoy yourselves. Just kind of relax. Take it easy. Things are starting to get back to normal. As always, I'm going to throw a plug in. If you like my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I still got a lot of people watching videos and tuning in that aren't subscribers. Doesn't cost you anything. It just helps me out if you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell to get notifications. So next live I do, it pops up. Or any videos that I upload, they pop up. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys take that literal because I get a lot of thumbs up and thumbs down. Just lets me know that you're there. If you're out riding a motorcycle, make sure you keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. But other than that, guys, thanks again. Have a great day.